Hello everybody. Good evening. I hope everyone can hear me also. For people that just joined in, if you can hear us, you can just unmute yourself for a bit and just say hello.
Hi, Tokwe. Good evening. Yes, evening. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
Okay, then I guess we're good. Good evening, Adeoluwa. You're welcome to another edition of the Customer Perception Series, a series that was started with the intention of constantly validating the importance of placing the customer at the center of all marketing activities. And this would be the sixth session we'll be holding so far. And so far, it has been really impactful. I've brought people to come to explain to us, people that have practical experience, to come to explain to us on some techniques that we can also use so that we can continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I won't want to speak too much because the speaker we have for today is really loaded. And so let me just maintain my own champion. Yeah, so we'll be having Yemisi Obadina speak to us today. She'll be talking to us on the factors in renovating a product in an existing market. And we know that this is one thing that is very key in brand and marketing, because as brand custodians, our job is to constantly think of ways to improve on products that we have. So we thought that there will not be any better person to actually do justification to this topic than someone that holds the position of a brand manager in one of Nigeria's leading phone companies, in person of Yemisi Obadina. So over to you, Yemisi. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much, Tokwe. Thank you. I want to thank Tokwe and Dayo. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm honored to have been invited to speak today. I also want to thank Fini Toyo. She was the one who did the linking up. She did the recommendation. Thank you so much, Fini. And I want to thank everyone on the call, all the attendees. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I look forward to your positive and great feedback. So straight into the presentation, we'll be talking about renovating a product in an existing market. So this is a table of content. These are the things we'll be looking at. A product, we'll quickly define a product and brand, and then we'll look at product life cycle, growth strategies, product development, stages of innovation and renovation, and then reasons why you should renovate, and then the traits of renovation, benefits of renovation, and then we'll also touch briefly on you being a product. So here we look at, excuse me, this is kind of in the way. Maybe I should just minimize it altogether. Okay, so a product is any good or service or idea that can be offered to a market or consumers in order to satisfy their needs and wants. So it is that item, it is that good and service that you package together at a cost, you sell it at a price, and you offer it in varying markets. And we'll quickly look at the levels of a product. So you touch on the core product. So this is essentially what the product does, what the product is about. What are you getting out of the product? What does the consumer feel or get out of this product after consuming your product? Excuse me. For instance, you buy a toothpaste and you expect you to brush your teeth and have fresh breath. And then you buy a mattress and you want to be able to lie on the mattress to sleep. You talk about tangible products, and that is you're talking about the quality of the product, the features, the things you can, like the look and feel, the things you can touch, the things you can see, the things you can feel, the features of the product. Then you talk about the brand name that has been established, the style, the packaging of the product. So like you buy Nike shoes. Many times, many people like to associate with the brand name, so you like the brand name, then you now talk about the style of the shoes, how it's packaged, the way it came in the box. You like the whole thing, how it looks. Talking about the tangible, part of the product. Then you go to augmented. So this is the service that comes supporting the product. So you're talking about after sales, so if you buy a washing machine or TV and there's a warranty of maybe 1 year or 2 years, if there's any issue, you can come back, we'll pay it for you. We'll pay it for free. Or, if you buy this product, it comes with delivery. You don't need to worry about delivery. Wherever you live in Lagos or in Nigeria, we'll deliver it to you free of charge. That's augmented. And then you talk about the promised product. So this is the product dependability based on what you have, promised to your consumers, what you said you're going to deliver when you buy the product. So this is product dependability, the status, and the value that it holds. So we'll quickly touch on brand. I'm just defining this here because, well, not everyone may understand what a brand is. And there are some parts as we go along in the presentation where I mention brand, interchangeably with product. So a brand is a collection of attributes that strongly influence purchase. So basically, we're talking about the name. It's a collection of a number of things. So the name, the term, the symbol, you see the logo, the sign, those things that represent that particular product, that combination, that brand. You see, the iPhone, you see Apple. Once you see the apple that is eaten at the side, you know what it is, what brand it represents. You see Google, the G with the colors, you know what it represents already. So those are the things that come together to make a brand. And the key elements of a brand: it must be effective, so it must satisfy a need. There must be something, there must be a need it meets. It must be distinctive, it must have an identity, so it must stand out from the rest, a distinctive identity. Then added values. So besides the core value, the core effect that it has, it must meet other needs. I'll give you an instance. So you buy a mattress, you want to be able to, sleep on it. But besides sleeping on it, you want to be comfortable. You don't want backaches. You don't want body aches. You don't want, excuse me, Tokwe, there's noise in the background somewhere. Can you help me mute, please?
Sorry about that. Just check.
So, you want to be comfortable on it. You want a mattress that you can show to your friends. So it happens that your bed sheet is not laid on your mattress. You want to be able to show it to your friends that it's so nice and pretty. It's so comfortable. I laid on it and I slept off. Those are added values besides the core need that it meets. So we go into the product life cycle. Basically, these are the distinctive stages. After you've launched your product, the distinctive stages it takes, varying with the sales profit over time. So from the stage of introduction to the growth, and this is where your sales start to grow, and then you have profit, up until maturity, and then it starts to decline. So basically, this is what it looks like. However, it is not always this way. It's not always in this form, or it doesn't always go like this, and then the time varies. So we'll just talk briefly on the different stages that have been shown here. So you have the introduction stage. This is where your product has just been launched. You might experience some initial loss. This is the stage where you might have some teething problems. Also, there was a challenge in delivering this product, and you start to find another way to make your delivery to the consumer or your customer. Excuse me. And then the sales growth might be slow, might not be as fast, and then your cost of production might be high because you're not producing a high volume. So these are the things you experience in the introductory stage. And you move to the growth stage. This is where you start to have higher sales. You start to have a rise in your sales, and then you start making some profit. It starts looking good, and then your product gains market share. You can confidently say, oh, you have thousands of people who buy your product every year, or you have hundreds, or as it were, millions and all that. You can start to come up with those numbers that add up, and you say you sell to so number of customers in a year. That's that stage. And then you get to the maturity stage. At this point, you've gotten to like the peak of it, and then your sales starts to dip a little bit. It just maintains a certain level. So you find that over time, maybe in a year, every month you sell around the same number. And so, okay, this month you sold maybe 5,000 pieces. The next month is 4,653, and then the month after it's 3,000, or then after it comes back to 7,000. It kind of roams around a certain range. This is the point where that maturity has set in. It's the longest period of the product life. It can stay at this stage for a long time, varying, depending on the kind of product that it is. And then you might just be okay at this stage, and at this stage, or sometimes it could dip depending on what's going on in the environment or how consumers are beginning to behave towards the product. And then it starts to have the decline. That's the decline stage. At this point, it starts to fall. Your profit also falls. Maybe competition has come into the market. Maybe there's competition that's giving you a fight for it, taking deep into your market share and all that. And then you're struggling to find what the cause of the problem is. It might be that a new technology has come about, and so you're not selling as much as you used to. Or, it could be that there's something happening. Maybe let's look at like how the pandemic came in, and then before you were selling in your restaurant, and you were making a certain number of sales monthly, and then the pandemic came in, and then you had to shut down. Your sales was next to nothing. That can be threatening, but it's a stage. At that stage, it's due to the pandemic. Perhaps things will rise again, but sometimes there are other factors that contribute to the decline, which you might find. And so, in assessing your product's life cycle, there are things you must look out for. Try and consider the stage at which your product is at, your product's life is at. Like I said, it varies. There's some products that just introduction and then they go straight into maturity. Perhaps it doesn't take them too long to grow, to grow their consumers, or maybe it's a product that doesn't target so many customers or consumers. Once they have a few major customers, they've hit maturity and they just keep sustaining that. And then if there's a decline, they might have to look into the issue and then take it back to the maturity stage. It varies like that. And then you figure out how long it might be for your product to still be profitable, how long it will continue to contribute profitably to your portfolio, to your company. If it's not contributing a lot of profit, then you might now start looking into maybe renovating or innovating. And then, yes, so the next line talks about how urgently you might need to renovate or innovate. Like I mentioned, there are difficulties with the PLC, with the product life cycle. A number of people might talk about the recognition. It doesn't easily tell what stage you are at. You might think, oh, you've hit that maturity stage, and then later on something comes up, and then your customers or your consumers just rise. Perhaps there was a referral that just opened bigger doors for you, and then your customer base just rises. So it might make it look like your PLC was kind of false. And then it's not always true, like I explained earlier. So it doesn't follow this traditional curve. Some people go from introduction straight into maturity. And some people, it just goes up, down, straight. It doesn't make it in the market. So you just know that it just went introduction, growth, and then decline immediately. Probably didn't hit that maturity stage because maybe it wasn't well accepted in the market, or there was too much competition and yours was not distinct enough to stand out in the crowd. So we've talked about competition and all that. So here we'll quickly look at the growth strategy. So after you've launched your product and you now want to increase your sales, you want to, achieve growth in your sales volume and value, you now look at growth strategies. So there are various strategies, and this is what the Ansoff matrix looks like. So basically it's the product put against the market, new market, existing market, and then new product, and then existing product. So we touch on it in the next slide.
19
Hello? Okay. So market penetration, as shown in the figure, is basically how you want to penetrate an existing market. So perhaps you're selling Muka now, we sell in Nigeria, and then you're looking for more ways to penetrate the Nigerian market. So we can start to do advertising campaigns. So let people know more about Muka, and then, you do sales promotions. So you can do some giveaways to attract your consumers and what have you. Or you can buy your competition. You find situations where a bigger company buys a smaller one so that you reduce competition and then you increase your customer base, your consumer base. So that's market penetration. Then you talk about market development. So you're looking at different channels. Maybe you say, oh, you want to start exporting. Maybe Muka says, oh, we start exporting our mattresses to neighboring African countries, or we want to go to other countries and sell our products, our existing products. So that is market development. And then you can also look at channels. Like now we have e-commerce, we have modern trade. So you have all the malls, ShopRite, you have Game, you have Spa, all those places. Those are the modern trade channels that people go to shop at. And then you have the e-commerce. So you can decide to sell through Konga, Jumia, and all the other e-commerce sites. Or you can develop your own website and sell through your website, things like that. And then you move to product development. This is where you develop a new product. Develop a new product in your existing market. For instance, Nigeria is your market, so you come up with another product that will appeal to probably another segment of your Nigerian market. I hope you get. And an example that I've written here is like how Nigerian breweries has recently launched flavored Maltina drinks. So they now have the pineapple flavored Maltina drinks, and I think chocolates or something. I saw the billboard where they're communicating this launch, and then you talk about Mondio Spring, that's Muka. I'll make a reference to Muka a number of times. Now I work at Muka, so yes, you might have such examples coming up. So we'll delve more into this in following slides, so let me not talk too much on this. Then you have diversification. Let me just remind us where we're coming from. This is the Ansoff matrix that we're talking about. So you have diversification, where you have a totally new product in a new market. So an example I put here is 7-Up Bottling Company now producing Tushore sanitizer. You'd wonder what's 7-Up Bottling Company doing with sanitizer, but they're taking advantage of the current occurrences in the market, the pandemic, and also they see an opportunity to sell. And they already have some of the products, some of the elements, and then they decide to produce this. So, like I said, we focus more on product development, and this is because this is where you find innovation and renovation, as it were. So, talking about innovation, this is about introducing new variants or product line into the market. We already know that technology changes very quickly. Your consumers, their behavior changes very, very quickly. They're very erratic, and so they can decide on the spot, and you just find out that the new decision changes what they are buying. And so this is a process, the innovation process, that is very necessary. It contributes to the success of commercial organizations. You need to continue to come up with products that appeal to your market and opportunities in your market. And even though this is so even though this is necessary, the challenge with this is that there's a high mortality rate. That is to say that not all new products that are launched are successful. An example I wrote here is India. I made reference to India, where in a year, and that's 2011, 14,500 plus new products were launched in the FMCG sector alone, just FMCG sector, and only 0.2% were successful, had success rates. So that tells you that this is very risky. Innovation is quite risky, but you've got to take the chance. You've got to innovate products. You've got to come up with new ideas so that you can stay relevant. You can keep growing. You can keep staying in the minds of your consumers. Then we move into renovation. This is where you're relaunching an existing product or brand into your market, and it can be positioning the brand or the price or the core product, what it does. Maybe there was a challenge or whatever. That's what renovation is about. So based on the topic, this is what we'll be dwelling on. So let me just take you through the stages of innovation and renovation. So like I said, they're both innovation and renovation are under product development, which we have talked about in the Ansoff matrix, So the stages you go through to come up with a new product within an organization, basically they're the same. The difference is what I'd highlighted in the previous slide, where innovation is coming up with a new product, maybe variant or product line, and you're going into your existing market. And renovation, you're tweaking something in the product, you make some changes, and then you bring it back to your market and tell them, oh, all improved or all new, because you've made some changes maybe to the packaging or to the core product. So basically it's the same stages, but I put it under innovation and renovation because you go through all the stages, within your organization when you want to innovate or renovate. So basically your first stage is the conception of ideas. This is where you come up with your idea. Oh, okay, I want to have a product that meets this particular need. Oh, how about we have maybe Muka now can say, how about we have waterbed? We'll see, let's come up with waterbed, something that's very soft and you just be dreaming away. It can be anything. So this is where you come up with your idea, you screen it, look at the pros and cons. What do you think? Do you think it will be successful? Look at your environment, talk to people, what do they need? And then, come up with a product that meets that need. Then you move to the next stage, which is your business analysis. This is where you come up with your business case. This is where you now come up with all the points backing up this concept that you have conceived. So you come up with your points, put it together. What are the objectives? What do you want to do? What do you want to produce? How many people are you targeting? What kind of profit are you looking at from this product that you're developing? Then you now move to the next stage, which is where you now come up with the product itself. You do a prototype, sample it. If it's a service, maybe offer it to a couple of people and see what the feedback is like. What do they think about the product? And then you consider your marketing mix here. So this is where you look at your 7 P's of marketing. You look at the product itself, the price. How do you want to place? What price do you want to project when you're launching this product? The place. Where do you want to sell it? What are the channels of sale? Is it e-commerce? Is it in traditional trade? How do you want to sell it? You talk about promotions. How do you want to advertise? How do you want to communicate it? You talk about people, what you're targeting, process, physical evidence, what did you change or what are you producing? What's the packaging like? Those kind of things. Those are the kind of things you consider in this stage. And then you talk about test marketing. This is where you now test it. You can do a survey or, research and give people to try it out. You can even do testers. You see some people, especially those in food and drink, they give people little sample to test and, give them feedback. What do you think? And then you can still make some slight changes before you finally move to the last stage of commercialization and launch, where you now launch it to the general public and then your sales starts full blown. So these are traits of winning renovation. So if you want your renovation to be a winning one that is successful, these are traits that it would have. So it will include your current consumers. So the current people that you appeal to, it will still appeal to them. However, with some tweaks like we've talked about, you will not alienate your current consumers. However, you will recruit more. You will bring more people to buy into your product because it will attract more people now. So probably somebody that used to buy something because of something, some particular reason, now they've seen your all improved soap. And that's let me try it. Okay, now you have shea butter included. Interesting. Let me try. So it will recruit more consumers. More people will buy into it, and then it will create platforms for future renovation. So having come up with this product, now you now start to see some areas, some gaps that okay, I can actually make a soap that doesn't lather too much. Some people like soaps that don't lather. Some other people like soaps that lather or liquid soap. It's okay. I will also do liquid soap, not only the bar soap. Things like that. It comes up. It gives you platforms for. It's a very tough challenge in the first place, wasn't it? Okay. It gives a platform for future innovation, and then doesn't limit your consumers. It takes away confusion. There's no confusion. You're straight to the point. the objective you want to achieve, and that's what you communicate to your consumers. So what are the reasons for renovation? What are the reasons to renovate a product? If there's ineffectiveness, perhaps, we talked about the core products from the first slide, and we talk about perhaps the product is not meeting the actual objective it was set to meet. Probably there's a gap, maybe there's a fault, maybe there's an issue, maybe there's a defect. I'll give you an example. You see maybe cars. There've been a few times where a car brand can recall products, recall a particular model of cars because they found out that the brake was a bit faulty or something was wrong somewhere, and they have to fix all that. So those are issues. And then when they fix that challenge, they then renovate. So in the next model, they'll come up with, you see that they've solved that problem. So that ineffectiveness, that issue, that defect it had, they would resolve it, they would fix it, and so they will now tell you all improved. And then you now see that maybe in a Toyota Corolla 2003 is different from 2010 model. There are some new things they've added, there are some things they've done that makes it different from the previous one. Then you have consumer feedback. Perhaps you've gotten feedback.
Hello?
I think she's on mute.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now. We lost you for a bit there.
Yes, I think I was muted mistakenly. So perhaps consumer feedback can also let you know things you need to do in your product, So you launch a product and you start hearing, oh, it's nice, but I like the cake. It's very nice. But how about you add, coconut? How about you have strawberry in it? Oh, and I start to say, okay, I can actually come up with different variants, or I can change it to be this kind of product, or you can improve it in those kind of ways, or you have negative feedback from your consumers, and then you see that there's some things you can tweak or change in your product. Those are reasons why you renovate. Then you also, like we looked at in the PLC, in the product life cycle, maybe you're losing your market share or your consumers, and you start seeing a decline. You know that there's a problem somewhere, you need to fix it so that you can attract more consumers and you can sell more of your product. That's another reason why you innovate. And then probably you didn't position your product appropriately. Maybe your price was too high. And then you found out that people were not buying because the price was just too high. They don't see the reason why it should be that expensive. And then you make some changes, position the price appropriately, maybe you reduce the price, and then you just find out that it starts to sell, the sales picks up, and then you're good, or you position the product to another segment of the market. Maybe before you're looking at it as something for teenagers or for youths, and then you find out that it's actually something that more mature adults can buy into. So you position it and then you say, oh, not only for children, even mommy and daddy can buy into this, So those are reasons why you renovate your product. And then, like we talked about earlier, sales decline. So you find out that there's a decline, your sales starts to drop. That's another reason you want to renovate your product. So, okay, benefits of renovation. After we've looked at the traits of renovation, reasons why you want to renovate. After you've now renovated your product, looking at the stages of renovation or innovation, what are the benefits that you start to enjoy? There's so many of them. I've listed some here. And then you see that the core essence of the product is achieved. So you were making a product, perhaps a mattress that is springy. It's a spring mattress. And then now you've made some changes based on the feedback you got from your consumers. You've now made the change, and you see that the core essence is the objective of that core product is achieved. That's one of the benefits. You build a sustainable platform for future innovations. I talked about this earlier. So you find out that when you do a particular product, you now find other variants of that product that you can innovate. I mentioned the example of Nigerian breweries now doing flavored Maltina drinks. So things like that, you now find platforms to innovate the products. You come up with new product lines, and then it brings about brand growth. your brand continues to grow. So if it starts to decline, you find something to renovate, it goes back up again, you sell, sell, sell. If there's any decline again, you find something that's wrong, and then you probably renovate, and then, you know, you stay relevant in the mind of your consumer because your product continues to meet their needs in different ways. So just like I said, you're meeting your consumer needs and wants, and then it improves your perception, the product perception and usage. So now that you've made changes and you've brought it back to your consumers and told them this is the all improved product, so they start to see it as fresh and relevant. They want to buy into it because there's something they can get from it, you know, that's different from the previous. And of course, this leads to increase in your sales volume. You know, the demand increases, and so sales increase, and then you have more profits, and then your market share increases. So your number of consumer, your customer base increases, you know, and this brings about more profitability. Your product attracts more people. So there's more product or brand affinity, you know, and by this time you start to get word of mouth. People start to tell others, oh yes, I use this product, it was really, really nice, you should try it, it's very nice. And then you find repeat purchases, and people who are loyal to your product, to your brand, they stay to you because they now trust what they will get from this product. They are highly satisfied, you know, they enjoy the product, so they want to buy again, they'll buy from you. So those are the benefits of renovation. It gives you a competitive advantage. You have something to talk about. Oh yes, this is what I will give to you if you buy this product. This is what you enjoy. You know, other products don't have this. This is what makes us very unique, distinct in the market. You know, and then it gives you an opportunity to create awareness. You have something to talk about when you're doing your campaigns and promotions. You have something to talk about, some distinct feature that you can talk about that has changed or that makes you stand out in the market. So this is the bonus that we'll be talking about, and this is focusing on you as a product, you as a brand. You are a brand, you're a product yourself. So all that we've talked about now and looking at various products that you can think about, I'd like you to associate it with yourself as a product, yourself as a brand. You also need to renovate yourself. You need to set goals and objectives. You need to develop your own self. You need to come up with your personal plan, your career plan. What do you want for yourself? What do you want to achieve with your own life? You know, come up with your plan, write it out, state it out clearly, what you want to achieve. And then you work at it, assess yourself. What are you doing right? What are you not doing right? Ask people questions. What do you think you need to change? You know, note them, write them down, and then survey your environment. What can you do that will make you more marketable? What can you do? How can you project yourself in your environment so that you'll be more relevant? You know, perhaps you might need to get a mentor. Perhaps you might need to look at a competition, you know, somebody else around you that you admire, you want to be like them. You say, how's this person doing it? You know, maybe I should emulate this person, do some things that they're doing so I can also be better and be somewhat like them, you know. And then you renovate yourself, you know, where necessary. Those changes you need to make in your own self, make those changes, innovate yourself. What do you desire from the goals and objectives that you set for your own self, you know? Now start to take conscious steps, you make conscious efforts to achieve these goals. What are the things you need to do to get to this point that you want to get to? What are those things? Highlight them and then start to walk in that direction so that you can achieve them. Position yourself, you know, accordingly. I'll give an example of myself. I'm here today talking to you, you know, on the consumer perception platform in this series, and that's because I'd informed someone that I wanted to talk to other people. I also wanted to, you know, coach and, you know, speak to people, and I was referred, and that was how I got on this platform, and I'm here talking to you. It's all in line with achieving a goal that I have set for my own self. So you can do the same, you know, position yourself right, and then the doors start to open, and then you take steps in the right direction that you want to go. And lastly, it takes time. You know, you don't achieve success in a day, but it is achievable, and you take conscious steps day by day, you know, every time renovating yourself, innovating yourself, and then you achieve the goal that you've set for yourself. And that is where I ended. Thank you very, very much. Hope you've enjoyed this session.
Wow. Thank you very, 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 very much.
Oh my.
Yeah, I really like the way you capped it off. It was like you were preaching to me directly, like, go for it.
Yes, go for it. Thank you.
Yes. I'd like to say, we have someone here. I'd just like her to say hi. Fee is in the house with us here.
Oh wow. Hello,
When
Fee.
I saw her, I was surprised.
I had mentioned your name. I did a shout out to you at the beginning. Thank you once again for the referral.
Thank you. It was an amazing session. Well done, Yemisi. Well done, Tokwe and the team for organizing this. Sorry I joined 10 minutes late as I had a meeting overrun, but I learned so much. Thanks, Yemisi. That was excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Fee.
Yes. So thank you very much. I picked a couple of things during the process, and I realized that some of these things that you spoke about, some of us that are in the space of marketing, we do them, but we don't know that we're doing them is an aspect of innovation. We just think we're doing them, we're developing strategies for business, and we're doing this, and we're doing this. But there's one challenge that I know that
I spoke
most
30 minutes ago or something. Obadina, yeah. So they just thought that I was on the call, so they wanted me to just say something.
Okay.
So, but there's one thing that I know that has been bugging a lot of young marketing professionals that I know that you would have also experienced in the course of it. It is that when we're not the owners of the business, most of the times when we're just brand custodians or brand owners, so we are supposed to propose ideas to business people. Most of the times, the owners of the business already have it in mind. This is what is selling. This is what they want to continue to sell.
Yeah.
So when we're bringing up ideas or we think we need to improve on this, it always gets, no. This is what works for me. This is what works for me. This is what has been selling the product even before you came to my business. In cases like that, how do you advise we pacify those stakeholders to make them see like the bigger picture? Even though we know sometimes product innovation is a risk because you can lose customers too. If your insight is not very strong.
Yes.
So how can we pacify stakeholders to also understand that, okay, this can work?
Okay, so thank you for the question. In an organization where you are not maybe the owner, you work for someone, the best you can do is make your recommendations, and this would be a collation of your market findings, what is happening in your market, what are your customers saying, I touched on it in the previous slides, so view your market, what's going on in the market, what's selling, do you have those same features in your product? What are your customers saying? After buying your product, what was the feedback? All these points, you need to collect them, put them together, and present them to your stakeholders, to the management. And that's where it comes in your business case. We talked about it in the stage gate of the innovation and renovation product of a product. So you put it together in your business case. Write all those points. What was the feedback? What was the complaint? Why were they complaining? Prove it to them, show them the product. Perhaps maybe, something that's supposed to be spongy is breaking. It's not supposed to break. The elastic limit should be longer, but it keeps breaking. Show it to them, demonstrate it to them, show them that it's not meeting the objective that it was produced or set to, achieve. You need to show it to them. You need to prove it to them. Perhaps it might take you getting customer feedback, do a survey, do research, and let the research speak for itself, or you let customers send their feedback directly to the company. So it's not coming from you, it's coming from the consumers. Perhaps if they hear it from the consumers, they would see the point, they may see the need to renovate or innovate. If they don't want to renovate the existing product, perhaps they can innovate another product that meets the need of the customers. Since the customers are requesting something else, you also just need to put it together and let them see. And if at the end of the day they refuse, well, you might just have to take it. You win some, you lose some. You might just have to take it that way, and you let statistics show for it. And eventually they might see the need to do that particular thing. I remember some years ago, I was working in an ad agency at the time, and there was an account in the agency. It was not the account I was working on, but it was an account in the agency, and they had been talking to the client to develop a TV commercial. They had been telling them about the need to develop a TV commercial or to reach out more to your target audience, to the market and all that. And they never saw the need until one day they just saw advert bam from competition. Do you know, within a month, they produced a commercial, a TV commercial. Why did they have to wait for competition to launch theirs first? They could have had, the first to market opportunity. But that's how some people are. That's how some stakeholders are. That's how they've chosen to do theirs. So perhaps you might just need to, let it show for itself. Let the customer speak. Let the research speak. All that. Put your business case together. Still make your point, and then hope that it is accepted or taken on board. I hope I've answered that question.
Yeah, sure. I think you even also explained one part, because most of the time, there was a time I was in a similar situation, and the feedback that I always got then from the stakeholders were, go to the market first. Go to the market first.
Mm-hmm.
So let the market decide if the product is good or not.
Yeah.
So eventually we now come back tweaking the product, and you just be like, well, I've seen some of these things before. Yeah, I think it's very, very true. So if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the chat room. Dio will be taking some questions in a few seconds now. So there was a question somebody asked in the process of registration.
Okay.
The person said, if you are renovating or innovating your product, and you need to increase the price because you need to innovate or renovate, that what are the steps you can take to not lose customers?
Okay. So you have an existing product. You then want to, is it the existing product you want to innovate? Well, basically, it will depend. After you've done your survey, you've done your research, you've found out from customers or consumers what they want. If your current product is not meeting that need, is not satisfying that need, then you might decide, let's innovate. Let's come up with another product line or variant that meets the need that the customers are requesting. So if it's now innovation, then you can now justify it with the price increase. So you can now come up with those new features that you have added. You now communicate that, and then you put your price increase next to it. So it looks like you've justified the price increase with those added features, those added values that you've included in this new product line. So, you achieve that. And then if it is for renovation, after you've talked to your consumers, you've gotten feedback, you've done your survey, you find out that, okay, you need to tweak this. Maybe technology has improved a little bit, or maybe now because of COVID-19, there's some things you need to do, in addition, or maybe because of the prevailing economic situation, inflation and all that, so your price might increase. And it will be based on the economic situation. However, you don't make your price increase very drastic. It might just be a little percentage, a slight increase on the price, so that you can still hold your existing customers. Remember, one of the key traits of renovation is that you must include your existing customers. You must not leave them out. You must include them. So that's how. That's what I would say.
Oh, okay. I maybe during the presentation, I think I missed that part, but I picked it now. You must always include the existing customer in the process.
Shall I go back to it? Here we go.
I'll go back to it, so I won't drag everyone back.
Yeah, I'm there. Can you see?
Okay.
Traits of winning renovation. So you see, the first point is it includes, it does not alienate. It includes the current consumers or product buyers. So you must still keep your existing customers. You don't want to lose them. However, you want to add consumers. So that's the next point, where you recruit consumers. So a winning renovation, a great renovation that achieves success would not only retain the current consumers, it will recruit new ones based on the added features or things you've renovated in the product. There will be some people that it will appeal to, who would come buying your product, even if it's to try it out, it opens new usage and trials for your product.
Okay. Sorry, that someone sent me a personal question. Person is saying, from your presentation, it seems like it looks like every product must always decline at a point in time. That's from the product life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Every product must always decline.
Okay.
So the person is, that's a question that it looks like all products must always decline. So what's coming to my mind now is like century sugar that we have known from way back, the kills.
Yes, yes.
Still in the market.
It's still in the market. Yes, yeah. It's still in the market, but it's been scarce lately. I've not been seeing it. Dangote sugar is everywhere now. I've not been seeing it. And then there are new sugars in the market. However, the decline can be due to different reasons, different factors can contribute to it. It can be because of issues with Forex. Maybe it's now too high to bring it into, the cost is too high to bring it into the market like before. Like you find it everywhere and they don't want to increase their price. So it could be something like that. Or it could be that the market has moved. People are now finding other things. Maybe now you go to socio-cultural issues. People are going green. They're now avoiding sugar. They are going for things that are not sugary. They are going for honey and things like that. So maybe demand dropped, So, it can be due to different things. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that all products would decline. It might be that as it's starting to decline, you renovate, it goes back up. I mentioned that. So it goes down, it might go up again, like that. So you do different activities to sustain, the maturity of your product, to sustain the sales and, stay at that maturity or growth stage. So as soon as it wants to dip, you do something again, it goes up like that. That's what you want to achieve. You don't want a decline, except it's an unsuccessful innovation or a product launch that, didn't make it. Like I mentioned earlier, not all product innovations are successful. In fact, the risk is very high for product innovation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I've been very technical in terms of the markets, now to bring it down to like normal business owners, for instance.
Yes.
So for business owners, and because the government is trying to encourage people to produce.
Yeah.
But say in Nigeria now, where most business owners don't produce, they only resell. Are there ways they can innovate around the product or the service that they offer? What are the tactics or the strategies they can innovate? Maybe, for instance, I sell bags, for instance, and maybe I buy my bags in, let me use AliExpress.
Mm-hmm.
And almost everybody that also sells bags around me also buys from AliExpress. So it's like we're offering the same product. So what are the ways that business owners at that level can also innovate around the service that they offer? Because I think they might not be able to innovate around the product.
Perhaps you could look, if you're buying from AliExpress, there are different customers on AliExpress. So perhaps you can look for a particular customer or seller on AliExpress that is not offering the same designs as what your competition is buying and supplying into the same market. You might want to look into your source, you source differently, or perhaps when you buy or you get the product, you can make some slight changes to it so it becomes different and distinct from the other ones that competition is putting into the market. So you might want to look into it differently. You're talking about locally as well. So perhaps what can I think of now locally that you meant? What was the example you gave? Was it farming?
No, I was saying locally now. Maybe people that sell Gary, for instance, Gary Jebu. How can they probably innovate around that kind of product?
Okay, for instance, now with Gary, for the example you gave, you find Gary in modern trade. Various people are packaging Gary in different ways. And there are different types of Gary. Ijebu Gary, they'll tell you the one that is yellow Gary, the one that is what's the one, the sour Gary, the one that's not sour. There are different ones. And the only difference is the packaging. They just put it in a nice bag and they put it 1 kg, 2 kg, like that. And then they sell it in modern trade. That's a different way. I'd mentioned that as a different way.
Different approach.
Yes. So, that can be a different way, how you can stand out in the market. So instead of always, the only way you were selling before was going into the traditional market where you pour it in a bowl, keep it up and sell. How about you look into other channels of sale? So there's the modern trade, or you want to move it to another state to sell. We have talked about that too. That was when we talked about the Ansoff matrix. So you look for a different market to sell it to, or how can you package it differently so it looks like a new product, or you innovate it. So you think of different ways you can meet perhaps different market segments, or your products can appeal to more people and you sell. Even Gary, they export it to Gary in the package.
The same way they import pizza.
They package it and send it abroad. All these African shops abroad, they package them and sell. That's someone locally who thought of a different way to sell. So he's selling, he's exporting, he's selling internationally while he's also selling locally. So it's about the person thinking of different ways he can still sell and, make profit.
Yeah, okay. So I think innovation can also be around service delivery, the way you offer your service, because for businesses now, small business owners, when because there's this gap between a product and the service they offer around the product. Most people just think it's just me buying the product itself, and forgetting that even the service that you offer is also a part of the product. So you can even wait around the way you sell. Like I know someone that sells on there's a new platform, this Flutterwave platform for small businesses.
Yes.
A way for businesses to also innovate by saying, you can now buy from me online. Just impute the details and all. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the product as the end product itself. It can be around the service itself for innovation.
Yes. So I think I mentioned that too. Let me see. The way you're selling, let me go back. Growth strategies, that's where you talk about growth strategies. So I talked about modern trade, e-commerce. So it's about looking at different markets. How can I sell it? You want to sell, so maybe you want to move your existing product to a new market, or you want to penetrate your existing market, or you want to come up with a new variant or a new product, in your existing market, various ways. So it's about coming up with different ideas, how you can increase your sales, really.
Okay. So that will help for me. I think I took about 2 of the questions I asked were from the registration. Then one was someone sending to me privately. Okay. But then I don't know. Let me call someone out. Adeolua.
Hi, Tokwe. Sorry, I really don't have any question.
You were the one that was asking me about the Mocha story. I wanted because I told her, she was wondering that which of the Mocha story would you like to find out about?
So because I missed like a major part of the conversation, and so wasn't stable until the question the question part basically. I wasn't sure what had been shared or what had not been shared. So I didn't just know what to ask. But if I would ask, it would just be, and I don't know to what extent you'll be able to answer, but what meaning Mocha is in quite a very interesting category, particularly with your major constitution, Vitafoam.
Yeah.
And exactly, I think the price of mattress has gone quite high, with the for the past 6 years now.
Hello.
Since you might be able to answer, what are interesting things people could do?
I missed some parts of what you're saying. It went quiet for a bit. Can you please take it again?
Okay, I'll take it again. So I said, you're in quite an interesting category. Economy has declined, and sort of price of your product has also increased. And despite that, you've sort of retained remained afloat the markets, even though the economy has declined and people's income has reduced. And I've seen quite a few consumers just go for non-branded mattresses.
Yeah.
So my thoughts is just around what kind of things, or I don't know what kind of things Mocha has done, and to what extent you could share that has made you stay afloat, and if there are any learnings people who work across brand in a declining economy could take from it.
Okay. Thank you. Well, just like you said, despite the economic challenges, we've managed to, stay afloat and doing quite well with sales. I would say it boils down to, several things, like had been mentioned before: advertising, promotion, all the marketing activities that had been done in the last, say, 2 to 3 years. All of those activities all together come to play, and you find that you have sustenance of awareness in the minds of your consumers. So when they're ready to change their mattresses, or you find people getting married, or you find students are going to school, boarding house or university, and they need mattresses, it's based on the brand awareness that they've had that they would go buying. And I believe we also worked on knowledge and, perception of the customers themselves, those selling the products. Previously, there were complaints, so we had to work on those kinds of things so that you buy the appropriate mattress for your weight, for your size, that we've tried to communicate that in our campaigns. We've done a lot of things, also educating the customers so that when consumers come to them, they can advise them appropriately. It reduces the issues of buying inappropriate mattresses for your category, for your weight, So price is not only the thing that you'd consider when you're buying the mattress. You want to buy the appropriate mattress for you. We've been able to put a number of things in place as well. I talked about promotions earlier. We've done a few promotions. So all those things help to pull the customers or consumers to our brand. So imagine now you want to buy a mattress. You had been hearing the radio commercial, you had seen the TV commercial, or you're going on the road, you saw the billboard, and then you got to the store, the outlet where you wanted to buy the mattress. And not only did the seller recommend Muka to you, he even tells you, oh, there's even a promotion ongoing. You get a free gift. Maybe there's a towel or mosquito net or pillow or something that you get. You'll be encouraged to buy it, and then even much more when you buy it and then you use the mattress, and you find out that it's not just the fact that it looks pretty or that you can lie on it comfortably. It's good, it's durable. We even give you warranty on it. There are lots of things that we've done, put in place to ensure that the consumers get value for what they're, paying for. And, with that, I think there's also been word of mouth, recommendation, people are happy what they're seeing. And I think, all the marketing activities really, they're working. So I think those are the things that Muka has done in the last few years that has helped us to sustain our sales, even in this trying time of the pandemic. Hope I've answered the question.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Adeolu.
In a nutshell, what Muka has just done is they've achieved what we call, I don't know about new schoolers, we call it TOMA, top of mind awareness.
Top of mind awareness, yes. Muka, generally, the brand Muka renovated in the last few years, I must say. The brand actually renovated itself. Muka has been around for 61 years now. And despite the fact that we've been around that long, there was a time there was no advertising and all that. It was just quiet, but sales were still ongoing. But, realizing the need for marketing and all that, the marketing unit was revamped. And, now we've had a lot of marketing activities that has increased awareness, done a lot of things, find competition, trying to fight back and all that, but it's really helped. It's really been good for Muka. The brand itself has renovated, and I think it's quite a good one.
Thank you very, 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 very much.
Thank you very much.
Dayo, I don't know if you have any final words. People asking the slides will be shared, so I would like to act publicly. Hope you would share your slides with us, so we can share.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, then we'll also share a link to the recording of the session
Okay.
on YouTube,
Yes,
so people
that's
can
fine.
also go back and watch again.
Yes.
So I don't know if Dayo has any final words to say.
I just want to say I've learned so much. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. This has really been eye-opening for me, and really appreciate you coming to share your wealth of experience and knowledge with us, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I'll be pleased. I'll be pleased to come back. Perhaps maybe somebody might come up with a question later, and it might just bring about another topic, or maybe we want to delve into another area, maybe based on what was presented today. Anything. But yes, I'll be happy to come back. Thank you very much for having me today. I'll be glad to present again another time.
Yes, thank you very, very much. And thank you very, very much, Finny. It's really an honor having you on our session again. Finny runs, for those that don't know, Finny runs Empower You Consulting, where she runs trainings for young professionals who want to kickstart their careers. So the one that I'm very familiar with is how to land a job at a multinational. Because when I get the job at a multinational, I'll continue to attend the session. Yes. So thank you very much, Yemisi, for your time. I think on this note, we need to wrap up now so we don't take too much of people's time as well. And it was really nice having you. It was really nice tapping, or let me say, picking from your brain and your wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and I want to give a shout out to Claudia. I saw her online. Claudia is my colleague. She's also at Mocha, and she's in this session. Hello, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.